All right, so we're back at the home page, my favorite place to launch from. Okay, we're going to talk about midterms. Okay, I've put on the home page 3 documents. I'd like to start with this how to use the study guides document. I'm using Explorer, so I get this little message asking me to launch it. Here is my best advice for doing well on the exams using my study guides. So first off, print the study guide now. Oh, sorry. I called them weekly quizzes in this document when I meant to say learning curve games. So anywhere you see weekly quiz, please read learning curve games. Yeah. So, okay, what should you write down? Transfer the hints to individual cards. If you follow these strategies, and I've given you good verbal guidance for how to study, if you follow these, and also, by the way, in our textbook, it talks about how to study effectively in chapter 1. So if you use those pieces of advice, you're going to do really well. My study guide hints are not necessarily always going to be super like a term. They are going to be guidelines. So let's go ahead and look at them. So I really recommend go ahead and open these and print them now. And as you read, start filling them in. This shouldn't be a cram session right before the exams due. This should be something that you're using to study. So you'll notice I've organized it by chapter. And then in your chapter, you'll find these headers. And then I've given you a hint based on something in that header. So, you know, which researchers used introspection? Those philosophers who argued for nature and those philosophers who argued for nurture, right? Here's the SQ3R study method. This is I like to ask this question because if you follow this advice, it'll help you on your midterms. So it's always good to know how it works right at the beginning of the quarter. So sometimes you'll see a setup like this, population. That's probably going to be a definitional question. Questioning attitude in science. This is not necessarily going to be definitional. In fact, this might be the answer. This might be the prompt on the question. So you want to make sure that you understand what part of critical thinking is satisfied by holding a questioning attitude in science. So use the hints as a guideline for what you should read, what you should be focusing on. It's not necessarily just a series of, like I said, not just like definitional terms. I'm a big critical thinking kind of teacher, and I really want you to understand things. So here we have another one that's alpha waves. That's probably definitional. Withdrawal is probably definitional. But then you'll notice there are other ones that say things like function of REM sleep. So why do we enter REM sleep? The textbook talks about it. So read up on that and write notes. So this is the study guides are each 2 pages long. So go ahead and print those study guides. Follow my instructions for how to use the study guides. Prepare in advance so that when it's time to take your midterm, you're ready to take it from memory. Now I'm clicking on the modules button, and we're going to go down to module 5 because that's the week that midterm 1 is going to be available. You can tell from the study guide which chapters are being covered. You can tell from the syllabus what chapters we've read prior to the due date for the midterm. So it's going to go up through chapter 8, midterm 1. Now I'm going to try and click on midterm 1. I'm in student view, and it should tell me that, see, it's locked until 1 week prior to its due date. So you're going to have, see this availability, January 29th to February 5th to open the midterm and take it. Once you open the midterm, you're going to have 60 minutes to answer just select your answers and submit the exam. Some students have said to me that timer clicking down on them in the upper right-hand corner is really stress-inducing. So if you feel like that, if you're a person who feels like, knowing that the time is clicking down on you is really going to make you feel more pressure and maybe not perform as well as you could, I really recommend taking a Post-it note and sticking it over that section of your screen, because if that's going to provide pressure for you, I can't make it go away. That's how Canvas works. So make it go away yourself. Put something over that screen and don't be pressured by it. Go through the test one time fully, picking the answers to the questions that you know for sure, just like you would in an in-person class. I've set it up so you can only see one question at a time, but you can you can advance and regress through the test. You don't have to only move forward. So go through once, answering all the ones that you know for sure. The system saves your answers as you go. So click on the ones that you know for sure, and then go back to the beginning and look for the ones that you left blank. Hopefully you have enough time. You could refer to your study guide, but the study guide is in the order in which the material appears in the text. The midterm is scrambled. So it will be time consuming. You can't expect to look things up on the study guide or in the book for all 50 items in a 60-minute test. You've got to plan to do it from memory. I've had students say to me, "Oh, it's impossible. I can't take a test. I can't take a 50-item test in an hour." In my in-person classes, I give them a 50-item test in a 50-minute time period, and even my English as a second language students are able to complete the test in no less than 60 minutes. I will let them sometimes stay into the break, especially if I have the classroom next. I'll let them stay. Students get it done when it's in person, and I think it's because they don't have their books and they don't have their study guides. All they have is their memories. So I know you can do it. Can you do it and get every single item double-checked in your textbook? Probably not. And in fact, I have some students who will go through a 50-item test in person with absolutely no access to their books or their notes, and they'll get it done in 20 minutes. They'll be done before I've gotten my study guide, my key made. So I know it can be done. I absolutely know it can be done in 60 minutes. It is not designed for it to be a completely open book. So when you complain that it's too short of an amount of time, my first assumption is you didn't prepare to take it from memory. Plan to take it from memory. If you have time left over, then you guys have the extra benefit of having your study guide in front of you, and you can double check. I want it to be a memory test because I'm trying to figure out what you learned in the first half of the class and then in the second half of the class. What I'm trying to give you, takeaways from this class. So you'll have one midterm that's due in the 5th week of the class, and you'll find it in the week 5 module. And then you'll have another one that's due in the 10th week of the class, and you'll find that in the week 10 module. Both study guides are on the home page. My best advice for using the study guides on the home page. So hopefully you guys will all use those pieces of advice. Hopefully these learning curve games, the psych investigators, and the video toolkits, hopefully this will all bring stuff to life for you. And if you watch the Discovering Psychology videos, I can guarantee those are going to help you. If you have read your textbook, you're going to be good to go. You're going to do really well on these exams. So that's the testing procedure. All right.